The princess of pop wasn't always so lucky. Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're looking at the tragic life of Britney Spears. Most people know that Britney Spears got her start as a child star, finding fame on the revival of the Mickey Mouse Club.
When you're dancing, you just can't do a step. You've got to get into it, you know?
But while Britney may have projected an image of an all-American girl from a typical family, her real home life was much more troubling. Her father, James "Jamie" Spears, struggled with alcoholism, which created an unstable home environment. After her parents finally divorced in the early 2000s, Britney told People magazine, quote, "My mom and dad, bottom line, do not get along. When I was a baby, they argued. I wanted this to happen 10 years ago." In mid-2000s, her father quit drinking and he and Lynn reportedly got back together by the end of the decade. By the time Britney hit stardom as a teen, everyone around her pushed her to work harder and harder, despite what she may have wanted or needed.
The archetypal all-American teen queen was groomed and managed by a showbiz machine that wanted to keep her pure, fresh, and innocently provocative.
She was reportedly only given an hour off every day for downtime due to her hectic schedule. A friend alleged that her team would bribe them with shopping sprees if they'd coax Britney out of her trailer and get her to perform. But she was always desperate for the approval of others, especially her parents, so she worked herself into the ground.
For me, the big trick when I'm asking Britney to do stuff is to not make her do too much stuff, because she would literally run herself into the ground.
During this time, she questioned whether she was really on the right career path, saying, quote, "Personally, I'm a shy person, and I'm particularly not really made for this industry because I'm so shy. It's not something I deal with so well." Once she became one of the biggest pop singers in the world, however, she had very little control over her own life and even dreamed of being able to live like a normal person.
I'm so grateful for everything, and I just feel so incredibly blessed. But I mean, the realization of, when you're famous and you can't go back, that's really weird for me.
In an interview with Rolling Stone, she said, quote, "I'm supposed to take 6 months off, but I probably won't. The whole point of me taking a break is to be out of the public eye and not see my face on TV because I'm sick of myself." She craved an everyday life where she could walk into a Starbucks and order a coffee or even pump her own gas.
Are you able to go out in the street, or everyone knows it's you?
Sometimes. I'm just now starting to get like you'll go into a store and people will be like asking you for your autograph and stuff. But it's flattering to me. I think it's really sweet.
But her fame made that impossible, and the team around her was extremely strict about her image, reportedly choosing every aspect of her look, down to her underwear, to make sure she fit the image that they had crafted for her. Considering how much scrutiny she was receiving in the press, it should come as no surprise that her love life was considered to be part of the public domain. In the early aughts, Britney and Justin Timberlake were pop music's power couple, but when the two split, the gossip mill churned with accusations that Britney had cheated, drumming up drama wherever they could.
And yet he's left the impression that you weren't faithful, that you betrayed the relationship.
I think everyone has a side to their story, and to make them feel a certain way.
Justin's treatment of Britney post-breakup was less than favorable, and sources closer to her claimed that things took a negative turn for Britney after this point. In early 2004, she spontaneously married an old friend in Las Vegas and annulled the union just 55 hours later. Later that same year, she married again to dancer Kevin Federline, and this one lasted a little bit longer. While the marriage was doomed to fail, it did bring Britney her 2 sons, Sean Preston and Jaden James.
So, it worked out. It worked out pretty good.
I think we did good, baby.
Yeah.
Of the relationship, Britney said, quote, "I think I married for all the wrong reasons, instead of following my heart and doing something that made me really happy. I just did it for the idea of everything." She filed for divorce in 2006, and what followed was an ugly custody battle for her children that ended in Spears having to give Federline $20,000 a month in child support.
The custody battle is not looking good for the Oops, I Did It Again star. Last month, the same judge said she should undergo random drug and alcohol testing twice a week as part of her custody battle.
All of this was leading up to the pop culture moment that everyone surely remembers, Britney's breakdown.
We will turn now to a story that is burning up The internet, it's burning up. The water cooler talk, it's just burning this morning. Yes. Britney Spears. She's bald.
Following the death of a close relative, she shaved her head completely bald at the beginning of 2007, which shocked the press considering her blonde locks were an integral part of her image.
Bradley, did she say why? I mean, did she offer any information?
They asked why she wanted to shave her head, and she said, "I don't want anyone touching me. I'm tired of everybody touching me."
What came after was a string of stints in rehab, as well as increasingly erratic behavior. She famously attacked a car with an umbrella after asking for privacy from the paparazzi, and in a separate incident, was involved in a hit-and-run while driving without a license.
Her recent behavior has many people asking, is Britney Spears going out of control?
Despite the initial custody agreements in October of 2007, Britney lost custody of her boys, and full custody was given to their father, Kevin Federline. Public opinion had turned on her because of her behavior, which by that point included driving with her 1-year-old Sean in her lap in 2006, a move which she defended. Losing her children was the last thing in a long line of events in her downward spiral. Shortly after all of this, Britney lost even more control of her life, even though she'd become an adult. She entered into a court-approved conservatorship in 2008, which gave her father and a lawyer power over her spending. This is typically reserved for the elderly or otherwise infirm, an exception that was made due to Britney's mental state.
This extreme legal measure usually occurs when the subject has physical or mental limitations to care for themselves. But Britney's rough patch was many years ago. So why is she still under a conservatorship?
The aim was to protect Britney's fortune from her potentially reckless actions. She initially opposed the conservatorship, but when she was convinced that it would be best for her children, she agreed to it. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. In the late 2010s, some of her fans started the Free Britney movement, protesting at her court appearances on the basis of granting her independence from her family's control.
You know that there has been this kind of groundswell in social media to end the conservatorship and to give Britney Spears back her freedom. She is down with that and even expressed that to the judge on Friday, we're told.
Even today, though, the conservatorship is ongoing, leaving Britney without financial freedom. On top of that, in 2019, Britney checked into a mental health facility, and many of her supporters believed that she was not there voluntarily and was being held against her will.
Being institutionalized for mental health issues. Now, is it true it's against her will since January?
Through it all, Britney has always wanted to focus on being a good mother. Britney's ex, David Lucato, said, quote, "If anyone could see her interactions with her kids, they would know that there's no need for a conservatorship over Britney's personal life." And so, here's hoping for the best for Britney, her family, and her career in the near future.
I have really good people around me that support me in what I do in my daily life, and so I'm really blessed.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.